Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. An emotionally charged, highly impactful night of action came to us as NXT took over New York City tonight and crowned a new NXT World Champion in one of 5 of the best matchups I have ever seen, especially so far this year, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show NXT TakeOver New York review. Let's do this. Woo!
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining us for this NXT review, but don't forget, all WrestleMania weekend long, get your Sledgehammer Wrestling Show gear and wear your colors proudly. Get the celebration underway for WrestleMania by getting a huge discount of 10% off using the discount code Mania 10. That is at teespring.com/store/sledgehammer-TV, sledgehammer-TV. Go there right now and pick up your shirts if you want to. If not, I don't really care. Holy shit, my brain is all frazzled because that show, the end of that show specifically, was absolutely off the charts. What an adrenaline rush NXT TakeOver New York was from start to finish. It's like they came out there tonight and wanted to tell WWE and the main roster, hey, you guys, hold my beer while we show you guys what a fucking WrestleMania is supposed to be, and we're gonna do it in only 5 matches, not 16 ridiculous matches and 8 hours of action that's supposed to be the best night of the year. This night, for a wrestling fan, was the best night of the year. If you are a wrestling fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you watch this show, you are proud tonight to be a wrestling fan. You will go and get each and every one of your wrestling buddies and you will say, hey, if you missed NXT TakeOver New York last night, come over to my house and I'll watch it again and again and again because it was fucking amazing, and you do not want to miss an event like this. 5 matchups tonight, each and every one of them delivering beyond all of my expectations. I'm going to go so far as to tell you guys that this show even got me on board the bro train, and I cannot watch that matchup between Matt Riddle and the Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship and not be a fan of this guy. That match was fucking amazing. Every single match tonight was simply amazing. From the tag team match that kicked off this whole thing where the War Raiders showed Aleister Black and Ricochet the meaning of the word war, and they did so emphatically. Holy shit, the War Raiders do things that just defy logic. The way these gigantic, massive mountain of men glide through the air and just run back and forth from corner to corner like a freight train in a succession of times, so many of which that I lost count how many times the guy went from ring post to ring post delivering clothesline after clothesline. These guys are so huge and they're doing tope suicidas over the top rope, flying off of the top turnbuckle. It's just, they're doing things that Ricochet would do. And this match was a beautifully told story. It was given a whole lot of time to really draw you in and make you believe on many occasions that Ricochet and Aleister Black were going to be able to pull this match out and win the NXT Tag Team Championships, coming off of winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic and hot on being the hardest working men in all of professional wrestling, and I thought this is maybe where they were going to start to culminate some sort of a path to maybe unification of all the tag team championships, but that is just a fool's hope on my part. That is wishful thinking, and the story at the end of this matchup was told beautifully, as it was so damn close. After Ricochet and Aleister Black hit them with everything that they absolutely could muster, and the War Raiders took everything and then just fired right back at them, ending up winning this thing, hitting the fallout, and it was on Ricochet, folded him up like an accordion. It was brutal to watch, and the War Raiders retain the NXT Tag Team Championships, and I'm very, very happy that they did. This is a huge, huge win for them, taking on and defeating two of NXT's top stars, and it was very, very touching to see how the New York crowd gave the send-off that was deserving to Aleister Black and Ricochet. A standing ovation to these guys. I was on my couch at home giving them one as well. It was just something unbelievable to see. This is tag team wrestling done right, and when you see the War Raiders, they look old school, they feel like a real team, and they deserve this win, and they are going to go on and dominate the NXT Tag Team division. Who's going to take out the War Raiders? If Aleister Black and Ricochet can't do it, what team is going to have the gusto and the ability to take out such a dominant championship duo? It remains to be seen. After this, we had the North American title matchup, Matt Riddle versus the Velveteen Dream, and you guys all know coming into this thing, I was very honest in the preview and predictions, and I am always very honest about everything we talk about here, and I've said multiple times I am not a huge fan, or I was not a huge fan of Matt Riddle. I'm not really into his character, I'm not really into his whole persona and the whole bro thing, but when you watch that match he had tonight with the Velveteen Dream, you cannot help but just understand that this guy has got what it takes to be one of the top stars in all of professional wrestling. Some of you guys, some of my subs, you guys told me you don't know what you're talking about, man. You just have to wait and see. This guy's going to prove to you that he is the real deal, and he definitely did. I thought he was just another, former MMA meathead coming to collect a WWE paycheck, copycat and an RVD sort of gimmick, but this guy's the real deal. Shoes or no shoes, bro. I absolutely dug this matchup, and so many times I thought Matt Riddle had this match won. So many back and forth sequences between these two. The Velveteen Dream has a grace and an elegance in the ring that I just constantly tell you guys, he's just super, super impressive. He moves like nobody else. He hits things with a drama and an intensity that just make you almost feel it while you're sitting in your seat at home. He hit him with the Dream Driver multiple times, and this match was coming to a close, and it looked like Matt Riddle was going to win as he applied the Bro Mission. But the Dream somehow turned it around and got the Matt Riddle's shoulders to the mat. Matt Riddle did not release the submission, and he got pinned. He got pinned, a surprise pin after such a tremendous matchup, and the Velveteen Dream again retained the North American Championship, which I was happy to hear. I was afraid they were going to just give it to Matt Riddle. The Velveteen Dream is just getting started here, and this is another matchup that you guys, if you missed it, you have to go back and watch every single one of these matches, man. Matt Riddle and the Velveteen Dream tore the house down, and it made whatever was going to come after this very hard to follow. But what came after this was something I was very highly anticipating, and it delivered again above and beyond everybody's expectations. The WWE United Kingdom Championship was on the line as the champ Pete Dunne took on his biggest challenge ever in Walter. And Walter, as I'm watching this matchup, I think was put through his greatest challenge ever. I don't think he's ever come up against anything like a Pete Dunne before, especially with a championship on the line, because this was a knockdown, drag out ode to British strong style, man. If there was a song for the whole entire genre of British wrestling, it would be this. This was just a beautiful encounter. So brutal, so tough, so hard-hitting that you couldn't help but believe that on many occasions in this matchup that Pete Dunne had this match won. Just by the mere brute force that he executed and the determination that he had to break the fingers of Walter. I'm not really a big fan of finger manipulation moves, but when Pete Dunne does it, there's just something very, very realistic about it, and it looks like the guy wants to tear your fingers clear off your palm, and he almost did that multiple times to Walter tonight. Walter, a very, very powerful, very, very big man, executing so many big power moves to Pete Dunne where you just thought this thing was wrapped up on his end multiple times throughout this matchup, and this delivered again, bringing the crowd, bringing me into a fervorous mode where by the time this match was over, we couldn't tell which way was up. We didn't know who was going to win, who was going to lose. Constant comebacks, constant 2 counts, kickouts. It was absolutely beautiful, and the finish again kind of came out of nowhere as the action made its way to the top rope. Pete Dunne trying to execute a triangle on the top rope, but ended up getting lifted by the mere force and strength of Walter to his shoulder height, and then was like thrown, man, like the guy was a sack of potatoes. He threw him and executed a power bomb, a throwing power bomb from the top rope, and then would follow that up with a very awkward but very uncomfortably powerful splash. When a big man his size comes crashing down, it hurts inside. No matter how big you are, no matter how tough you are, that's going to be hard to come back from. And Pete Dunne just could not come back. Though he had the fortitude to kick out many occasions, many times throughout this matchup, Walter was just too much, bringing the over 600 plus day reign of terror that Pete Dunne has held onto the United Kingdom Championship in the NXT UK to an emphatic end. And there has been a changing of the guard across the pond, and the age of Walter is upon us all, and it is absolutely terrifying. There is a new WWE UK champion, and Walter is his name. That may seem unassuming to you. You may be like, oh, who the hell is Walter? What the fuck kind of name is Walter? It don't matter what you call this guy. You can call him Walnut, you can call him Ballnut, you can call him Beech Nut, Chestnut, you can call him anything you want. He's going to smash your fucking teeth right down your throat, and he's going to take your championship, as he proved tonight in his NXT TakeOver debut. Walter, very, very impressive. The match was absolutely amazing. We see Edge and Beth Phoenix canoodling, husband and wife having a night out, watching some of the best action of wrestling history go down right before their rise in New York City. This leads us to the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Women's Championship. Kairi Sane versus Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair versus the champion Shayna Baszler, the dominant champion who has been on her own little reign of terror as of late. She went out and said that she's been such a dominant champion that they can't find any one person to challenge against her. They need to give her 3, and she has no intentions on giving up that championship belt tonight, and she definitely did not. Shayna Baszler defies the odds herself, as the odds were definitely not in her favor tonight, and she retained her women's championship for NXT tonight. But the story is not so much that. The story is all of the action that happened within this matchup, and key story being the partnership between Shirai and Sane, which at the beginning of this match seemed to be working in their favor, as they were doing a lot of tandem maneuvers, doing double teams, and keeping Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler at bay for the majority of the start of this matchup, and working very well to try to get those 2 girls out of the way and maybe come down to just the 2 of them and see who would be best later on in the matchup. But that would not end up coming to pass, as Bianca Belair showed that she deserved to be there in this matchup on many occasions. Shayna Baszler is a beast all her own. You know she was going to bring her best into this matchup, and it was definitely a knockdown, drag-out fight. A beautiful ballet of brutality between 4 absolutely beautiful beauties that I couldn't believe what I was seeing from some of these girls tonight. The Bianca Belair spot where she had both Shirai and Sane on her shoulders and executed her finishing move to both of them at the same time was just simply flawless, and it set up the end of the match very, very well. But the one story that I loved more than anything was at one point Io Shirai had this matchup won as she executed all of her maneuvers and had the pin on Shayna Baszler, but the pin was broken up by her best friend Kairi Sane, and that look on her face was just heartbreaking. You seen the pain in her eyes when she realized that it was her best friend that just screwed her over, and you seen the pain in Kairi Sane's eyes as well. These girls told a fantastic story, because Kairi, you just seen in her facial expressions that I didn't want to do that, and she was almost mad at herself that she did that, but she has no choice. It's every woman for herself, which set up what happened following that to be even more dramatic, as Kairi Sane would find herself in the advantage, hitting the insane elbow on Shayna Baszler, and then would have her count interrupted by Io Shirai. And the looks on their faces again now turned a little bit more to anger, and now these two girls started going at it, and next thing you know, it was chaos. They were outside the ring, and Bianca Belair found herself in the arms of Shayna Baszler in the Karafuda Muda, however the fuck you say it, clutch, and she was holding on for dear life, and Bianca Belair tried with all her might, scratching and clawing at the face of Shayna Baszler, but the champ would not be denied, and without any help from her horsewoman cohorts, Shayna Baszler goes out there and retains her championship in this matchup, and it was absolutely fantastic. I will admit that I was not happy with the fact that Bianca Belair did not win the championship. That was my one hope here, but that aside, this match was a lot better than I expected it to be. So many great spots in here. So much credit has to go to all four of these women tonight. They went out there and stole the show. They definitely raised the bar for what has to happen in tomorrow night's main event. Sunday night's main event at WrestleMania. Holy shit, man. They really are going to make it hard for Charlotte and Ronda and Becky to be as entertaining as what we have seen in that matchup. They even made it hard for the women's tag team Fatal 4-Way. There is going to be no comparison as to what match was better when the weekend is all said and done. The Fatal 4-Way at NXT for the women, or the Fatal 4-Way, and you could even include the Triple Threat. I guarantee you they will not be anything near as magical as this matchup felt. And you want to talk about magical matchups, you can't go any further than talking about the 2 out of 3 falls matchup for the vacated NXT title. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. The crowd was on fire, and the fact that the crowd was even still alive by the time we got to this matchup, you got to give props to the New York City crowd for staying alive and staying amped and staying as energized as the entire show just had this great energy to it throughout the entirety of the night, and it did not feign, it did not waver, not for 1 minute, and Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano would continue with that momentum for 3 falls, as this match, as I predicted, went all 3 falls. An idiot could have predicted that. I'm not proud of myself, because anybody with a brain could see that this one was going to the deciding fall, and the fact that they had Adam Cole get the first fall in this matchup brought the drama and the intensity to this matchup immediately to 110%. It elevated it to a whole nother level, because now every pinfall for Adam Cole could win him the championship. Every kick out for Johnny Gargano mattered that much more. And no matter who you were rooting for in this encounter, in that moment between the first and the third fall, you were invested in every single minute. And then when Johnny Gargano tied this match up, you were even more invested, because now it's as if the first 2 falls didn't even happen. And Johnny Gargano is laying there busted open, bleeding on his face, and they both look exhausted and spent after them pulling out so many dramatic maneuvers and so much of their A stuff already. They have to go one more fall. They took a few more seconds to gather themselves and get a little bit of air before they just went at it in the ring once again. Super kick for super kick, move for move. At one point they kicked each other in the jaw at the very same time and ended up laying flat on the mat, absolutely spent and exhausted from what they have put themselves through for the chance to be the NXT champion on this night. It was absolutely beautiful. And then to make everything even more heightened, to make you even more invested, What happens when Johnny Gargano seemingly gains the advantage and is about to win the championship? The Undisputed Era rear their ugly heads, cause a little bit of shenanigans, get the distraction, get the referee's attention away from Adam Cole, who is already tapping to the Gargano escape. Next thing you know, they're getting involved. Johnny Gargano's getting hit with O'Reilly and Fish's finishing maneuver. I forget what it's called at this moment. And then you got Roderick Strong on the outside, causing the referee to not be able to see anything on the inside. Next thing you know, the referee's getting bumped. It's just a whole bunch of chaos, and you can't help but feel that Adam Cole is going to steal this one away from Johnny Gargano. And despite being hit with everything other than the kitchen sink, the heart and the determination of Johnny Gargano to win this matchup was put on display 100% tonight, and he would not be denied as he kicked out of everything that they can throw out. And before you know it, Johnny Gargano had Adam Cole once again wrapped up in the Gargano escape, and he had no choice but to tap out for the final fall and the finish. Johnny Gargano wins the NXT World Heavyweight Championship. My words do this show no justice. If you missed it, you would be so much better spending your time watching this show than you will watching WrestleMania later on Sunday afternoon. If you are watching me early on Saturday morning, I implore you, if you missed this show, it'll be the best 2.5/ maybe 3 hours you spend all weekend long watching some pro wrestling. And that, my friends, is the NXT New York TakeOver results and review show. It was an absolutely amazing show. You want to talk about a perfect show? By God, this show was absolutely perfect. You can't get wrestling any better than this. What a fantastic night of action, brought to you by the 3 best letters in all of professional wrestling, NXT. Not WWE. Yeah, they're part of WWE, but they cannot touch them. There is nothing WrestleMania can do to top what was put on display tonight at NXT TakeOver New York. Thank you guys so much for being with me here again on a very, very busy week in the studio. We are putting out so much content that we're actually losing our minds. We got so much other shit to do that we barely even have any time to do anything. So I'm apologizing for everything coming up a little bit later than normal. We are going to have the WrestleMania preview and predictions popping up Saturday morning. Make sure you get your eyes on that if you're seeing this first. Go check out the WrestleMania preview when it pops up sometime in the early AM hours of Saturday before the show, or Sunday morning as you're getting ready for WrestleMania festivities Sunday evening. As I'll be getting ready myself, we're going to the G1. If you haven't heard, we're going to the G1 Supercard show at Madison Square Garden. We are going to WrestleMania on Sunday, and we are also attending the Culture Clash happening tomorrow afternoon in Jamaica, Queens, as House of Glory is putting on the finest independent show that there will be anywhere surrounding WrestleMania week. So if you're around, get your ass and get your eyes over to House of Glory's Culture Clash. I just had a brain fart. Way too much wrestling going on right now, and I am having trouble keeping track of everything. But if you need a little bit of insight, go check out all the preview and predictions that we have already put up on this channel. So much stuff on the channel this week. If you missed it, it will be linked in the annotations up above. Thank each and every one of you that have been with me so far. This has been a great WrestleMania season. We have over 1,300 amazing sledgeheads joining the family, and I want you to be the next one. So don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time here. If you enjoyed anything and everything we talked about here tonight, make sure you smash that thumbs up. And make sure you let me know that you enjoyed the show by doing so. Don't forget to share this show with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they enjoy some real professional wrestling, which they can only get at NXT, and then they can come here and talk about it with the entire Sledgehammer family and each and every one of you down in the comments section below, which I really look forward to seeing what each and every one of you guys have to say and what you thought about what went down at the Barclays Center tonight. Don't forget to get your t-shirts. Here's another look at that code, Mania10 at the checkout for 10% off. Teespring.com/stores/sledgehammer-tv. Hey, we got it right this time. All WrestleMania week long up until the final SmackDown after WrestleMania. Get them now before they are gone, and pay respects to Audible. If you want a free audiobook, you can get one on us. All you got to do is go to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv right now. Sign up for the 30-day free trial and get a free audiobook on us. All kinds of genres available, from biographies to self-help to anything you can imagine, science fiction, romance, whatever floats your boat. You can pick it and get one for free on me by going to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv right now. If you have already redeemed an Audible trial via some other place, some other time, feel free to extend this invitation to your friends and family who may not know that Audible is the awesomest place to go for audiobooks, and they can get a free one on us by going to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv and then direct them over here and get them to join the club as we continue on our march to become the most powerful and hardest hitting community anywhere on YouTube when it comes to pro wrestling. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. And the most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you guys. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you for the rest of the WrestleMania festivities all weekend long right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Whew, NXT, man, they exhausted the shit out of me. I'm going to go to sleep, and so should you. We'll see you tomorrow for WrestleMania preview and predictions. Have a good one.
The Sledgehammer